Hello, my name is Brad Heller. Welcome to the Heller Approach Acting Studio YouTube channel. Today's topic, being human and being inventive. What does that mean? All right, let's talk about being human, what that means. Being human is creating characters that are honest and real. Being human is creating characters that duplicate reality. We have to create characters that are not a bunch of little gags and little things that your tricks that you do, not a bunch of performances. It's acting is about just being a real person in the real circumstances that you're in. So that's being human. Being inventive. What does that mean? Well, after we build our characters, after we do our emotion, we do our objective, and we practice our scenes, and we feel like we're really reacting off of the other person, that's actually not going to be enough. Now, what does that mean? Well, first and foremost, if you have a lot of emotion and you're playing your objective and you're really receiving the other person, that's great, and that's by far the most important thing. But is it going to book the job? Occasionally, yeah, maybe it will. But once you get down to the wire against some of the really great actors, it may not be enough. And one of the reasons it might not be enough is because when you broke your scene down and you made your choices, did you go outside the box with your choices? Did you take some chances on your choices? What does outside of the box mean? Well, it means taking some risks. It means you feel like instead of going left today, you're going to go right. Here you are in your scene, and you may have an impulse to do something. Being inventive means finding that thing and going with it. And sometimes it's going to be right, sometimes it's going to be wrong. But here's what I can tell you: if you've done the scene interpretation that I've given you, and the whole thing about what happens in the scene and what the point of the scene is, then you kind of have an idea where the scene's going, and you've done your emotion, done your objective, you've built the scene, you've practiced it. Most likely, a lot of your choices, if you just commit and you just go for it, a lot of your choices are probably going to be correct. As I've said, the technique is built on muscle memory. So if we built the scene, when we execute it, if we take some chances, most likely your choices are going to be correct within the circumstances of the story and the character. So we've got to make sure that we don't just settle for the safe choice. What did I say in a video a long time ago? Safety sucks, right? So what that means is going outside the box, taking some chances. Being human, being real in a scene is by far the most important thing. It is. If you don't have that, none of the being inventive and trying new things out is going to work, because all of the cool, interesting moments you can come up with, they're built on top of you being human. How do I be inventive in a scene? Well, here I am in the scene, and I'm practicing something. Being inventive is thinking a little bit about, what can I try here? Maybe instead of not speaking the line right now, I could take a moment and not speak, make the audience wonder what I'm going to say, and then say it. Maybe I pick up, maybe I'm supposed to sit in this chair. And instead of just walking to the chair, I walk, stop, think about something, and then go to the chair. So I've created this whole cool little scene that wasn't in the script, but it's a little bit more interesting. Inventive moments, kind of like icing on top of a cake. The cake, that's being human. These inventive little moments, kind of like when I've talked about comedy, and we break jokes down, and we frame jokes, putting pauses before punchlines, figuring out why something is funny. That's kind of the same thing. That's all like icing on top of a cake. We can't just eat pure icing. Kind of gets gross after a little while, at least for me. So, in the midst of doing your scene, and again, in a sense, we're kind of going back to preparation a little bit. So here you are, you're practicing at home, and you have a line. Think a little bit about the many different ways you could deliver it, and try something different. On another note, don't allow the punctuation in the script to dictate your work. I mean, if there's a comma there or a period, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to pause. There's a story about Christopher Walken. I don't know if it's true. I've never met him. But I did hear that in his work, he removes all the punctuation when he memorizes his lines. So he just memorizes a big block of words. No pauses, no capital letters, no punctuation, nothing. And he memorizes it as a block of words. And what that does, if you think about it, it gives you the freedom to decide where you're going to pause, and no period or comma or capital letter to tell you it's time. So that might be something you could try doing, is memorizing your lines without punctuation. That may give you this sort of sense of freedom that you can try stuff. But I do want you to remember to not settle. Don't just practice the lines a few times and think, okay, well, we got it. Let's just go do it. I want you to think, well, what could I do different from what everybody else did? I did a showcase recently, and the casting director gave me a really great comment. She said when I did it, I had all these colors and all these different flavors that I brought to my work. And that wasn't an accident. That was me consciously making a choice that I want not the same note in the scene. I want to try something a little different. I want to instead of having a certain tone of sarcasm here, maybe I switch it up and I give a different shade of sarcasm that maybe is a little bit warmer. Or maybe I give the other actor a look that isn't in the script. That's being inventive. Those are the kinds of things that separate you from the other actors. Those are the kinds of things that make people want to hire you. Make people say, I have to have him in my movie. I have to have her in my movie. She's wonderful. Because she came up with something different and unusual. Something that I, as the director, wouldn't have thought of. And believe me, if you do something really cool and interesting, the director's going to keep it. Not only are they going to keep it, and they're probably going to take credit for the idea, but you just let them have it. No worries. It's yours. You're the one up on the screen. Who cares who gets the credit? So, lastly, one thing I would say with regards to this topic about being inventive. If you can just remind yourself of this one thing when you're practicing, and it sounds so stupid, but it really helps. We got all tied into sort of acting and the business, and I got to work, I got to practice. When you're practicing your work, before you start, I want you to remind yourself of this. Remind yourself to actually have fun. Literally, that's what I say to myself, is have a good time. Have fun this run. Have fun. And it's crazy. Like there's this whole new series of colors that come out of my work. I can't explain, but if I remind myself to enjoy my work, enjoy the process, I find there's a new sort of bubbly fun and color to my work. There's a freedom. So that may also help you, that you don't get sort of tied down and constricted with the business, but remind yourself to have a good time. So what did we cover today? We covered being human, being inventive, have fun. Have fun with your work. Remind yourself why you got into this. When you're practicing your monologue, enjoy playing it. Go to the auditions and really force yourself, it sounds so stupid, but force yourself to have fun at the audition. It sounds crazy, but it actually works. Try to find joy in the experience of going to the audition, meeting a new casting director, being in the lobby, being around other actors who are competitive, doing stuff like you are, all on this path to accomplishing a dream of yours. So remind yourself to have a good time. So, what did we say? Being human, inventive, have fun. I'm Brad Heller for the Heller Approach Acting Studio. If you have any questions, feel free to write in our comments on our Heller Approach YouTube channel. You can also reach us through our website at thehellerapproach.com. You can reach us through Twitter at The Heller Approach or Instagram at The Heller Approach. That's all for today. And it's good to be back. I really appreciate all of the comments, and I hope that these lessons are helpful to you. And what do I always say? Oh yeah, keep acting.